Welcome back to Your 1230, the only podcast where our guests tell their story with the help of 12 questions in just 30 minutes. I'm your host, Mike Solitro, and today we are really excited to be speaking with Yoni Rios. Yoni loves to focus on mindset and teach habits that have helped him when working with others. Yoni, welcome. We are excited to speak with you.
Mike, thank you. Thank you for that introduction. Thank you guys for having me. Um, I, I'm I'm super excited to be here. I'm very excited, although we're across country from each other. This is what I love podcasts because we're able to impact people's life and what has worked. And I'm in that mission to spread what has worked, and I'm sure it's gonna help more than one people.
Yeah, definitely. And, we're excited as well. And the helping others and the excitement, that is all tied to the mindset and to be positive and to have the kind of the right approach. How did you find that? And how are you helping other people do the same?
So I got through personal development. I got introduced to a book at 18 years old or 17 to 18. And you probably heard of it. It was Rich Dad Poor Dad. And that, it kind of snowballed into more books, and I got fascinated by personal development in my early 20s. And just implemented small habits. That's all there are. There are like small habits that will compound into a significant amount of difference in your life. And now it's just paying it forward into doing meetups. I do quarterly meetups here in Los Angeles, as well as I do like one-on-one coaching on mindset and business.
So when you talk about small habits, if you can remember, what was a small habit or one of the first few things you started doing that you really start to see impact or that really helped you make a positive change?
I think two of the most that they made the most impact in my life were the miracle morning, which involves the prayer, meditation, workout, journal, affirmations, and reading a positive book or listening to a positive audio. Um, when you do that, this just so sounds so simple. And I always tell people when they ask me, if I tell you how simple it is, you won't do it. So it's just very simple. There's nothing that's too complicated. So I read about not so much, about a book a month or two a month. But when you compound it in 10 years, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And then, you just have to back it up with massive inspired action.
Now you hit the big things there that the having that morning start off right. Hal Elrod's books are excellent, so I recommend those as well. But it does sound simple, but once you get into it, I hate to use the word routine, but get into the practice of doing these things, you find that you're open to new ideas, you're more relaxed, you're more prepared for the rest of your day, especially if you're starting it off that way. So I love that that's what you've chosen as kind of the small habits to highlight. I know you do a lot of things, including helping others. What does a normal day, if there is a normal day, for you look like?
So today was a normal day for me. Two days out of the week I get to pick up my son from school, and today's a day that I didn't pick him up from school. So I'm up at 3:30 in the morning, 3:45,
Wow.
and I go on a morning workout, walk my dogs, something that involves a movement. Right, we got to move. It obviously starts with the prayer because I think that we should all be, well, at least for me, believe in something greater than myself, and I'm here because of God, right? So I am definitely a disciple of him. I do my journal. I get my workout. Today I clocked in. It was so beautiful. Like you and I discussed, it was pouring in LA, and we ran 3 miles under the rain, and it was such an amazing run. I get my journal done. I read a positive book, good audio, and I have my affirmations and my declarations that I shout out to the universe. And it's ironically, I've been doing that for about 7 years consistently, and 9 out of 10 affirmations already happened. But the power, it's in the when you say it as it's already happening. Like I am a multi-millionaire, and little did I know, 3 years ago I made my first seven figures in a calendar year. So but I've been repeating these things for the last 7 8 years, but you speak to it in existence. I get to my office 6 in the morning. I get a prospect in my trucking business up to like 11 in the morning. I eat, I eat by design, so I eat at 11 in the morning on the dot every day, and most of the times it's almost the same thing. And then I work on my real estate business from 12 to 2, 12 to 3. I had an appointment today to walk a property at 4 o'clock. I came to walk it. I had the opportunity to be one of your guests today, 5 o'clock. We're here about an hour and 20 minutes from home. Probably get to my house at 7 or 8 o'clock, and I'll finish it up with a good meditation at night, and I'll be going to sleep at 9 o'clock.
I love it. That sounds like a full day, but as you smile, as you talk through it, it sounds like it's a good day. So that's a good thing.
It's a great day, man. It is an
Nice.
amazing
Very
day.
nice. So for me, mindset is something that, as you almost said that, or as you said, I kind of thought of, I don't know if I need this, or this is, it sounds too basic. I can't see this being helpful. But certainly over the last 3 or 4 years, it's something I've taken a lot more seriously. And that as I've implemented, I've seen tremendous results. And I honestly can't talk highly enough about it. So when you mention the affirmation specifically, and speaking in present tense, why do you feel that that's more effective? Because that was one thing that I kind of had one of the many questions I had that, this isn't true yet. Why am I saying I am instead of I will? Why do you think that's more powerful?
Because of the belief system. You start programming. So for me, I come from an immigrant family, where I was raised a family of five in a one-bedroom apartment. So our limiting beliefs is a lot. Like my limiting beliefs was that I could never drive the car that I wanted, that I could never afford these things. So it's the limited beliefs that you want to start inserting in your mind, and through a long period of time, and then if you stay consistent, these things will start happening. But when they happen, you already felt them because you've been visualizing these things for such a long time. And it's funny that you say it, because I think that kids, it's easier for them to reprogram. Like the younger you are, it's easier to you program. I'm 33 years old, so it's a little bit of I started my journey like at 18, 19, but it's harder to program one person at 33 years age than a 12-year-old, because we carry 33 years of baggage of non that you can't believe. So that's why it's powerful that you start believing these things.
I absolutely agree with you there. I'm a little bit older than you, and that it starting it at a later age is more difficult because of all of the years of no, or the kind of creative solutions that you've kind of turned away. But as a child, I've got small kids. You see that very rarely do they take no for an answer, or they find a way if it's something they want to do. And when you tell them it's not possible, it's not likely, they'll do it, and they don't allow themselves to be limited. Um, Kind of with that, when you mention limiting beliefs, when you're working with your clients, or when you're working with colleagues, do you find that most people know what their limiting beliefs are, or is that kind of the first step, helping them figure out what's holding them back?
No, yeah. I don't think they know. I think that most society feels like they were just brought in this kind of earth, and that's the way they should live, and that's the way they're gonna die. I don't think they even know what the limiting belief is, until they're put in an uncomfortable situation on a room full of high level people, and then they know that they don't belong there, and their limiting beliefs will just say, hey, I don't belong here. But and it takes work, but I don't think people understand what limiting beliefs are until they're put in an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, no, you're right on that. That's when that uncomfortable situation will spur the change, or unfortunately it'll reinforce a limiting belief where it's like, this is too uncomfortable. I need to go back to, again, that routine, what I'm used to doing, or what's not uncomfortable. So that's kind of where you push through it. You mentioned spending or splitting your day between a trucking business and a real estate business. Have you run both of them for a while, or what's the story behind those?
Yeah, the trucking business, we've been in business since 2013. So we're going on a 10-year anniversary this year. And real estate, it almost happened by, I wouldn't say mistake, but I was never intentional about real estate. It was more of like, once you start doing good, you have good habits, then you'll go into healthy problems. You're making a good amount of money, so you need to start depreciating assets. You need to start writing off expenses. You need to park money and performing assets. So that's how I fell into real estate. And I bought 10 units one year, and then I bought another one, and then so on. And I sold it, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. So, two of the last 3 years, I've made more money on the real estate than the trucking. So, slowly, although I'm still applied into my trucking business because I'm still involved in the business. I know that sooner than later, I'm going to transition a little bit more into the real estate because it's less liability, and at the same time it's a little bit more peace of mind that you don't have to work so much on the business.
No, that's you're right about that. That the real estate kind of offering many different avenues from a place to hold assets, to have depreciable assets, to park money, all of those things. But what struck me there is running two businesses is quite an endeavor. Most people would have difficulty keeping one business afloat, and the term we hear is time management, which I'm not a big fan of. Usually, it's going to be identifying your top priorities and then executing there. How have you been successful at a relatively young age to run two profitable businesses?
I think it's very simple. The only thing, just like you said, what's in your priority? My priority is at 40 years old to have the option to work or not. I'm still going to work, but I'll have the option to work. So I know for a fact that that is a priority to me rather than hanging out with friends, rather than socializing, and rather than doing all those things. So if you're intentional with a business, I don't think you should just be spending more than 4 6 hours if you're intentional about them. If you're kind of like, if you're prospecting and you prospect, you call a person and you take a 5 minute break, and then in 10 minutes you call another person, you're not using the best use of the time. You really have to time block. Most of the times when I time block to prospect for 2 hours, I get more done than people get done in maybe six in a full day of work because I'm very intentional about it. And then the one of my goals in life is to have the least regrets as possible. So when I do pass on, when I do die, I want to make sure that I ask myself that I did everything in my power that was there. So obviously we all get invited to social events and everything, and I ask myself, is that social event aligned with my end goal? It doesn't mean I don't go to social events. It just means I limit the social events I go to. And that's it. 3 hours a day, it's way more than enough. Real estate does not need 8 hours a day. So if you're doing 8 hours, you should be doing really good numbers, really good numbers. Most of the people, and then it works really good hand to hand because the trucking business, we work on East Coast time. So we work on your time. When it's 9 over there, 6 over here. So I'm able to get a head start. No real estate agent or tenant or anything is up at 6 in the morning trying to, ask for things. So it works really good with the times.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up 6 a.m. again because I wanted to ask you, as somebody who has had difficulty, we'll say, getting up, running in the morning because it's so dark, it's so tough to see. You mentioned running at 3:30 in the rain this morning. Logistically,
Yeah.
how do you do that?
So it's super simple. I really a lot this is a question I get asked on a daily on my Instagram. How do you do it? How do you get up so early? I'm a big fan of Kobe Bryant. Okay, so he inspired me to work out at 4 in the morning, as that's what he did. Um, so the earlier you wake up and you start draining your energy by 9 o'clock, you're drained. Today I will be drained at 9 o'clock, and I will be going to bed early. So I always ask everybody, well, you just got to go to sleep earlier. Well, I have trouble sleeping, I have this. I was like, well, the only reason why you have trouble sleeping is because you still have energy stored in your body. And remember I said that when I die I want to have no regrets. That's a question I ask myself. David Goggins talks about it, like the accountability mirror. And I go and I look myself in a mirror, and that's the question that I ask myself every day. Did you do your best today?
Okay.
And pretty much, if that should answer the question. That's the best accountability you have, the accountability mirror.
That's a good answer because I too am an early riser. I like to work out, but there is one day I said, you know what, I'm gonna get my running in this morning. It was about 5:30. It was pitch black, and I found myself on kind of a 2-lane highway fighting off cars. I'm like, you know what, this was not a great idea. So I need to figure out a way to actually see what I'm doing. So good to hear that it can be done. I will look for
Yeah.
better ways to do that. But you,
And I think we have to trick our mind and our habits that we just kind of like switch it up. Sometimes the gym, sometimes I walk my dogs. It doesn't always have to be like super hardcore, but I do like super hardcore better than just to walk.
you have to if you're referencing David Goggins, you have no choice but super hardcore because that's the only speed he goes. So
Yeah, yeah. So I like that. We've been I think as you go on, um it's ironic that when I don't, because I do have those days that I don't feel like it, right? And I probably go on a morning walk, and it's ironically that the days that I do work out and that I'm super intentional about my miracle morning, for some reason I have a lot more success in my business than if I didn't. It's just weird. I don't know what is it. It's the energies. I don't know. But so I'm like, dude, there's no way I can't work out or do something. My journal every day, because I know there's a lot of blessings happening every day, and I do believe that we create our own miracles, and that's where I'm on a mission to create my morning miracles.
I think that should be the real takeaway from this conversation or ones like it. That once you have your morning set up in a way that uh, is kind of the table setter for your whole day, that the resulting day will just exponentially have better outcomes for you, and that once you see that happen, it'll become something you want to do more of. And the days that you miss it, you'll feel it throughout the whole day. You're gonna wish that you could have started
Absolutely.
that way. Uh,
Yes. So it's just been one of my biggest like blessings, just understanding the miracle morning.
So one thing I wanted to ask you when you mentioned no regrets, I like that philosophy. I want to kind of juxtapose it with taking unnecessary risks. It doesn't sound like you're that kind of guy at all. It sounds like you're measured and you have good rationale. But how do you make sure that you're not doing things for the sake of doing them or taking on something that's too risky with the fear of you'll regret it later?
Yeah. So I always tell everybody my most important job as a human, as of right now in my life, is being a good father. That's my most important job. So if it's gonna jeopardize the relationship with my son, with my parents, I don't want it. That's just it. I don't want it. I do like success, but then it's kind of like it's like a gray area that in order for me to be in the best uh, present moment with my son, I need to be at the peak performance. So my son's with me in the weekends. When he gets up at 6:30 in the morning, I'm back from the gym already. I need it. That's how I feel. And if I'm not, if I didn't, I feel something's missing. So it's funny that you bring this up. But about a month ago, I asked my son, "Hey, I'm gonna run a half a marathon. You want to do it, or you gonna chicken out?" He's like, "Have I ever chickened out?" So he ran a half a marathon with me. He's a 13-year-old.
Awesome.
Um, but at the same time, if it's gonna hurt your body or hurt somebody, I don't want it. Just for the sake of pain. I don't give a damn what anybody thinks about me. It's always just personal growth, personal growth.
Good for
And
him
and
to
let me just piggyback on that. Intentional personal growth.
good clarification. Good for him to run the 13.1 at 13 years old. That's impressive. You
Yeah,
mentioned
yeah,
you
and he
met
actually beat me on my time, so that was cool.
that's even better. You
Yeah.
mentioned Kobe Bryant being an inspiration. You're in LA. Are you a basketball fan, a Lakers fan, a Kobe fan? How did you get to how did you start rooting for him?
Oh, okay. So, I'm a big soccer fan, huge soccer fan, and I enjoy basketball a lot. Which I'm a fan of the Dallas Mavericks, and being in LA, I enjoy watching the Lakers, right? And just when I started to kind of like, he was about 3, 5 years from retirement. I started just analyzing how he operated, and I was just fascinated by it. And I became even more of a fan once he retired because everything that he did, what he put his body through, what he sacrificed to have what he had, I was just fascinated by it. So I think it was a year or 2 years after his retirement, there was like a big 3-day event, and he was going to be a guest speaker. and I happened to be in that event. I had the opportunity to have like a 5 minute talk with him. It was just,
Wow.
but I just learned how he operated, how he was so untalented growing up when he was in Philadelphia, that I think it was like freshman or sophomore year that he won the whole season was with almost scoring no points. So I was just fascinated that he beat the odds, that he was just like the Goggins, right? That he was 300 pounds. And so I was just fascinated by that they didn't take kind of like the what was supposed to be their life and turn into, no, they're like, no, I can do better. Let's see what I can do. And then I was just fascinated by his habits, the way he worked out. So I meditated a lot. And then, like, when I kind of understood that he would meditate, that he will read, I was like, dude, this guy is next level. And success leaves clues. All peak performance, high performance people, they have something that you can piggyback off. I have this saying that I heard it, I don't know from who, that says there's nothing wrong with being a copycat as long as you copy the right cat.
That's nice. I'm going to steal that from you too. So that's good.
Yeah, yeah. Like, if there's something that I'm bringing the value and anybody on, dude, it's working. Why reinvent the wheel?
And that's an excellent point. And I wrote down as you said it because it kind of paralleled something you said earlier, that beating the odds, this is the way my life is supposed to be, so I'm going to just go with it. And then that was not good enough for Kobe, as you said, and it's not good enough for you, that you're kind of always pushing for that personal development, always pushing for better. You mentioned growing up with in an immigrant household. I'm the same way, and I learned a lot of lessons that I feel I don't want to say is specific to having parents come here from a different country, but it's a special thing to kind of see that in your home. How has growing up in a home with immigrant parents, how would you say how that shaped the way that you look at things now that you're a dad?
Oh man, it shaped a lot, but the good thing is that you're very grateful for the things you have now, because you at the time you didn't have much, so you made a lot stretch. So now, because you have access to doing a lot of things, being in a better position financially, you're able to do this. But that gives you the grit. My parents show me ethics, work ethics. They work, they still work, and they have really good working ethics. So I think it was a really good combination of saying, and also it gave me a picture of what I didn't want, right? Living in the neighborhood that I live, and striving for a little bit more. So I think exactly the way I grew up is the way I was supposed to grow up to be who I am now.
It's a good answer. Good answer. You mentioned being a soccer fan. So changing gears a moment, do you play? Who is your team you support? What do you, if it's not soccer, what do you do when you are not working two jobs and be a positive role model?
So my I don't play anymore. I do go just to the park, juggle the ball. My son plays soccer. He does travel ball. And I'm very involved in his life. I played a semi-professional, and I got offers to play pretty good universities in high school. So I love the sport. So I don't play it because I enjoy watching him play. I think it's his time. And like I said, my most important job is being a good father. So that's it. And I do enjoy watching the Premier League from in England. It is every Saturday I at least catch a game. We After the gym, my son woke up. We did our journals. We did our morning routine. We enjoy a good football match.
Very nice. Very nice. We are somehow coming up on time already, Yoni. Is there, I think we've covered a good amount of ground, but is there anything I didn't ask you that I probably should have?
Yeah. So I no, you asked me the great questions, but something that I just want to add to that is that I did say 5-10 minutes ago that one of my most important jobs, if not my most important job, is be a good father. So all the things that I do, I want to subconsciously show my son what a good father looks like, and he will have the choice to do the same and to pick up the good habits that I picked up, because that's what I did. I picked up the good habits from my father, right? And the ones that weren't so good, obviously, I didn't pick them up. So that's what subconsciously our children are always watching. if you're abusing of alcohol, if you're abusing of some illegal substance, they're always your good habits, and that's all they know. That's all they're gonna know. So once they're 18 years old, that's all they know. That's all they've seen. So I connect everything back from being a good father. So I want my son to be. Hopefully, he keeps on working out after he's 18 years old, and he's feeling good, because you perform a lot better in your career when you're lean, when you're in good shape, when you journal every day. So that's essentially one of my missions, to be a good father and help him define his purpose in life, because we all live as our day just kind of goes. We just kind of wing it. But no, few people understand their purpose in life. I understood it about 3 to 5 years ago, and every day it gets more clear. So that's the one thing that I would say: just be clear with these goals, that these habits that I share, they will help you get clear with your purpose in life. But you will never, ever, ever figure out what your purpose in life is if you're intoxicating, if you're abusing of just food. You can't even think straight if you're not drinking enough water, if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not journaling, if you're not. I do believe there's no way you can achieve your purpose in life, or understand what your purpose in life. I could be wrong, but I'm not in doubt that you won't.
No, that's an excellent addition and clarification. Thank you for that. If our listeners want to connect with you, learn more, Yoni, where can they do that?
The best way is Instagram. It's Yoni, Yoni, Rios 07. I'm pretty active there almost every day. I'm also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and my email is RIOSYONI. Super inspired with personal development. I'm super inspired to coach. I have small groups in coaching. And I'm super, just inspired about just winning, man. Like, I think it turns to a point where it's not about money, because I'm in a good financial position that I ever thought I would be. Um, so it becomes just more than that. Just win. Like, how can we scale on a different level now?
Nice, very nice. We will post to the social profiles. Thank you so much for joining us. This was a blast. I wish you the best going forward, and let's do this again sometime.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.